All right, let's do this. Hello, everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, a site for legacy death and taxes. Today, I wanted to, well, let me put it this way. I didn't intend on streaming today. I was supposed to be helping Bob do some playtesting for the GP, and then Bob had some errands to run, because apparently before you leave town for a trip, there's, things you have to do. So he's going to take care of that, and we're going to do our playtesting tomorrow morning instead. So I am back bringing you a little bit of legacy content. I had already borrowed the pieces to this to do some playtesting, so here we are. Hello, hello, breaking my limit. Welcome. So I wanted to play a little more with some Chalice decks to kind of get a feel for, how good they are under the London Mulligan. Last time around, we mulled to 4, and we had the opportunity to do a turn 1 Blood Moon, Trinisphere, or Chalice. So that was cool. And I just want to see if we can do some more degenerate things like that tonight. Note, I am going to cave a little bit. So I made two card changes to the 75. They're both in the sideboard. I dropped 1 Abrade and 1 Ensnaring Bridge to play 2 more Grafdigger's Cage. Everyone and their mom is testing the Black-Red Reanimator online, and, I've got to respect it. So I don't think that, it's correct to go and play these for a normal metagame. If I was going to play this at the GP, I'd play 1 more Abrade and 1 more Ensnaring Bridge. But for what we've got going online right now, I think I really want these. Dr. Bill, good luck. Send me updates throughout the weekend. I want to know how you do. You had a real good run at the recent events you played in, so fingers crossed that it continues. Breaking my limit. Did you build this deck list, this Red Prison one? Because it's been very good to me. Not always, because sometimes you get paired against the Stoneforge Mystic decks and you just get pooped on. But more generally, I've really liked everything that's been going on with it. So 30-second deck tech on this exact build. This build is gearing to beat the Stoneforge Mystic decks a little bit by moving the Fiery Confluences back to the main deck and playing Abrades and Ensnaring Bridges in the sideboard. So my older one was probably this one, which is only just a couple of cards off. So just to contrast the two for a minute. So this is when there weren't as many Stoneforges running around. And so I could afford to have a couple more slots in the main deck that were a little different. So this build has 1 more Magus and a PNK over the 2 Fiery Confluences. And then the sideboard is just a touch different. I was hedging to beat D&T a little bit harder at the time. So I'm just going to jump into some games tonight. We're just going to see how Chalice goes. And then on Saturday, I think I'm going to switch to playing some D&T. And see how the fair decks feel under the London Mulligan. Alright, let's open a couple of chests. Apparently I ran out of play points after that Allurin stream. That was a beating. That one was mentally rough. Alright, here we go. I wish I could open 5 of these at a time. Hey, JVP. That's a great vintage card. Bogbrew Witch. That was really fun to draft. Yeah, I've been super happy with the additional confluences in the main. Blinkmoth Nexus might actually be worth something online. I don't know if modern... 125 play points. Strong. Oh wait, I only need 120. Woo. I used to never open chests, but now that they're just such good EV to open them and then sell off the junk that you get, and you get to keep the absurd number of play points that you can open, I don't mind anymore. Very happy to see this, by the way. Been talking with that player a little bit about some matchups and approaches and stuff. Very happy to see them crushing it. But most of the stuff that's up here is not surprising. Arkan's doing pretty well. Open all for science? I don't think I'm going to go that deep. But I haven't sold any chests in, like, months at this point. Well, this is a turn 1 Blood Moon on the play with, like, a random day's backup that's not really going to be super relevant. So I'm super happy about that. I am going to just check and see if I have data on my opponent real quick, though. Potentially a Miracles player. I accept the Force of Will life. Force pitch Jace. That's fine. So I've still got a turn 2 Legion War Boss. And I can do that without losing a land now. So I will do so. So, like, this allows me to play a top deck 4-drop if I get, like, say, a Chandra or something like that off the top. Do I want to lose a land now, or do I want to pitch the Spirit Guide? I think I'll go ahead and lose the land. I feel really bad if this is, like, Brainstorm Indeterminus, but I didn't want to just, like, play out one threat and then lose it to, like, a Snapcaster Mage mid-combat. Yep. If my opponent has, like, a Jace after this, I will probably just concede, because I don't really think I can beat that. I don't know. My opponent is at 11. Kind of priced into doing this, even though it walks into, like, Counterspell or Spell Pierce. I do think it was correct to play out the second threat. Like, it feels very bad right now. But that does not mean it was wrong. Trinisphere is actually pretty good against Mentor. Like, to some degree, the damage is already... Damn! To some degree, the damage is already done, but a Trinisphere would mean they can't just, like, churn through cantrips and get me dead super quickly. Alright, so, like, I basically need, like, running Fiery Confluences now in order to deal with this board, which should not happen if my opponent has the ability to Jace Fate Seal. Alright, I assume that's a Fiery Confluence going to the bottom. This game is over. Indeed, crushing it very hard. Underfoot. For sure. Deku, I am playing D&T on Saturday. That is a back to basics purely for a prowess trigger. I respect that. And now they can just Jace on summon this and I die. Thoughts on black-white D&T? So, the black cards are very good. The question is actually, like, are you willing to make your mana base noticeably worse in order to go and play those cards, and I'm not sure that the answer to this is yes. No, Eddie, I canceled my trip to the GP. I'm kind of focusing on a job search right now, which sucks, but like I needed to take this week in order to like submit applications and stuff, and I couldn't really do that and do the play testing I needed to do and travel. It was a mess. So like it is what it is. I am not worried about finding something. Like there's a shortage of Latin teachers, so I'm not worried in that capacity. So I'm going to do what I usually do and just trim a couple Magus of the Moons and call it a day. I can potentially board in something like an Abrade to deal with mentors, but I think that's kind of a losing proposition. I'm just gonna like throw this deck list that someone in chat posted on the screen here for a second. So it's essentially like a mono white D&T, but there's a Pontiff and a Plague Crafter in the main deck. There's a Sword of War and Peace in the main deck and a Volrath Stronghold, and then a handful of black cards in the sideboard. I don't really know that there's enough black sources to support this. Like there's 3 Scrubs, 4 Marsh Flats. It's only 9 black sources. I don't know how I feel about that. The Volrath Stronghold is spicy. Well, that's a turn 1 Chalice, but the cost is like everything. So I'm going to go ahead and mulligan that. This is turn 2 War Boss into turn 3 Chandra. This is not exciting, but I think I have to keep it. And we'll throw the City of Traders back. Yeah, so like, I don't know if you've read it before, but I have an article on my website, Thraben University, about like mana sources required to cast things by X turn. And I think some of those like 1-cost spells that are in the sideboard are just like way too ambitious. Like the chances of us being able to get like black on turn 1 and want to do that are really low. So like, yeah, so like redoing the mana base is a fine starting point, but interesting. I wonder if that means they just have a bunch of basics in hand already. Could also mean they have Swords to Plowshares and want to be able to hold it up, but then they only have like basic Island after that. Wow, that got a Force of Will. Their hand actually might be weak then. I really wish I didn't have to play this Chandra into the counterspell. But I think I do. The upside of it resolving is just so high. Oh, that's a good sign. Nice. Now, this could just get Council's Judgmented away. That's something that can totally happen still. So, like, I'm not just in the clear. I'm not going to, like, just automatically run away with this game like we see there. So I'm going to go ahead and nug them. I don't want that to get countered. Like, I have no gas, so I essentially need everything to hit. And I don't think that they necessarily have a mentor. My reasoning is that, like, they've only brainstormed once, and I don't think they've had much time to, like, look and actually dig for the cards that they need. So I'm going to try to take advantage of what is hopefully a weak time for them. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Joke's on you, friend. I have nothing. I guess I'll play the land now that they know about it. So this is a do nothing card. I need to draw just about anything. Like any real card here matters. That doesn't particularly matter. We're behind in the race now. We might just get aggroed out by this click, despite the fact that our opponent really didn't do anything too impressive this game. So we get to Chalice on 1, which I assume is not going to work. I think it's probably incorrect to go and counter that, by the way. Like, I think they just, like, hit me and save the counterspell for, like, literally whatever comes next. Like, their 1-drops probably don't matter. Alright, that one was a little disappointing, but it is what it is. Okay, they had another force, which is why they were willing to use the first one aggressively. That makes sense to me. Hey, let me take a look at this deck list you posted here. Interesting. We are playing against Crazy C, 403. A little rhyme going on there. Crazy C, 403. No data. So I go turn 1 City, Imprint, Chandra, play Rabblemaster, turn 2 land Chandra, keep. So I know Red Prison like gets this rep for being a deck that always just like has the turn 1 lock piece, but a lot of your games look like this, where you just go and like play a turn 1 Rabblemaster and you say like, hey, can you beat this? It will kill you. It always surprises me when my opponents are willing to like turn 1 wasteland me when I already have a clock in play. It has, oh my god, no Swords to Plowshares for the Rabblemaster here. Good god, you're so dead. It's a tough play. It's a tough play, chat. But I think I've got this one. Yeah, I don't know why they were willing to wasteland me. Like, if they couldn't beat the Rebel Master that was already on board, that play doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yes, that is correct. That is a turn 3 Goldfish. So, unfortunately, to fit the Grafdigger's Cage in for this matchup, we have trimmed cards that are good for this matchup. So, like, I'm definitely not going to want my Tranospheres. That's not the sort of game that I'm going to want to play. And I also, like, don't really love the whole, like, War Boss Rabble Master package. They're poor against, like, Batterskull in particular. So I'll probably trim a little bit of that. Yeah, so this version doesn't have the Sulfur Elementals, unfortunately. I think it's correct to not be playing Sulfur Elemental and to, like, play these cards instead, because this is better against, like, the Stoneblade decks and D&T, and this has overlap against, like, the true names. So, like, this is a classic case where, like, my deck is not good against the opposing deck, and I kind of just have to, like, deal with it. It is what it is. So the other thing I can do is, like, trim a couple of moon effects in order to keep these in. I'll probably, like, move the other direction when I'm on the play. But when I'm on the draw, like, there is some degree of importance in just, like, making sure you don't get ported and wastelanded out of the game. This is a mulligan. I can't cast anything before turn 3, and then that's a turn 3 Hazaret. No. Mulligan. Nope. Mulligan. Well, I keep 5 of these cards. So I can go Mountain, Petal, Spirit Guide. Turn 1 Chandra. Okay. YOLO. Alright, so this is the turn 1 Chandra on a mold of 5. I'm gonna, like, super cry if my opponent has Revoker. But otherwise, I feel good. Don't Revoker me. Don't Revoker me. Please don't Revoker me. Yes! Yes! Alright, that's hot. So now I can go City, plus this. I will not cast Chromox. We will play out the very mediocre Legion War Boss. Obvious line is obvious. I didn't really want to downtick on Thalia. I wanted to leave it around so that, like, if my opponent went and played, like, a Council's Judgment, that wouldn't be an out. Like, I feel kind of bad about it now, but that was my thinking at the time. All right, I'm not happy about this. Uptick hit a braid would be insane, but I think I probably need to remove one of the creatures on the other side of the table here. I'm going to go ahead and take out the Thalia. I'm not pleased about this, but I think if I Chandra Plus, there's just like so many things I can hit that are very bad for me. Maybe I just misplayed by not taking out the Thalia given the first opportunity to. But I wanted my opponent to trip over their own cards. Alright, a Revoker. So this would be a sweet turn for like a... Yeah, there we go. We'll keep this in hand for right now. I'm okay with taking a little bit of damage. This is a very brave mom attack. Oh, I see. I was about to say, like, they've got to respect Fiery Confluence. That's the wrong land to port. For exactly this reason. Very glad that I get to punish my opponent's mistake there. Yeah, I got him lucky. That can happen. But we have so much time, right? Like, my opponent's not playing out more cards. I don't know, like, what exactly that means they have. What are you doing? What are you doing? That is not how you use Flicker Wisp. Wow. Oh, I'm in, like, such a good position if I draw another land, right? Like, I draw another land, I play out this bridge. That gets, like, another card out of my hand. It will keep any, like, 2-power things from attacking. Or this can happen. But this is actually okay, because my opponent is just, like, attacking with the mom every turn rather than holding it back. So, like, when I get to 4 mana, I will get to just, like, Plague Wind them. I mean, literally any land is fine. Like, they're all the same. That's not the card I would name there. I would name, like, a Lotus Petal or, like, any mana producer so that I can't Fiery Confluence as an out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is unfortunate. Like, I'm going to die just because I didn't draw mana. But our opponent played this game very poorly. They just got rewarded for it, which hopefully means they will like play this way in the next game, because then I can't possibly lose. So like we could have hit land, spirit guide, mox, petal. So what, we had we had 4 lands total because 1 was in the graveyard. So we had 14, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We had 26 hits. And even an Abrade would have been good enough to keep us alive. Actually, any 3-drop would have been good enough. It just had to not be a 4-drop. Yep. So on the play, I might just like bring in a war boss. Or bring in the war bosses and trim on the Maguses. Note that D&T is a very, very bad matchup for Red Prison. The matchup's hard. So I go Mox, Spirit Guide, Petal have 3 mana on turn 1. I could turn 1 Chalice or Blood Moon. I can't turn 1 Chandra. I think just having something with more stable long-term mana is more important than just like keeping my first 7-card hand. So I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this one. Things are going well. This is not an exciting hand, but it will be one that I'm keeping. I'll go ahead and send back the redundant Blood Moon. I'm going to hope to draw a land. I'll feel very good about this hand if I draw any land. I think I will literally die to a wasteland. So I'm going to go ahead and moon here. A Thalia would be a really annoying follow-up play, but I feel like I've got most of the other bases covered. Yeah, so like this is totally fine. Like I have this attacked from so many different angles. Sword of Fire and Ice, interesting get there. Not wrong, necessarily, just interesting. That may mean that they have something to protect. Like, Batterskull's often the equipment that you get first in this matchup just because Red Prison has such a hard time answering it. I'm just going to go ahead and pass the turn with a Braid up. We're looking to get a huge amount of value out of this Abrade. We're looking for our opponent to go like equip to Stoneforge, attack in, and then I blow up the sword. By the way, like, this Blood Moon, very good. Super happy I played the Lotus Petal last turn to play that around Thalia. We've got a decent setup. Wouldn't mind drawing some more lands. Like, I just need to be able to get the 4-drops I draw out of my hand. And the, like, 3-drop non-creature spells. This Fire Confluence will be very good once I get going, though. That's a strong play. That's how you use a Flicker Wisp. Unfortunately for them, I drew the land. So life's good, and this Magus is protected from like a Swords to Plowshares or equivalent. Getting a Flicker Wisp, that's a fine play. That probably tells me that they don't have Leonin Relic Order, by the way. Because that would have been just like an insane get. Like, get Leonin Relic Order, take out the bridge, crash in for 5. We're just putting this on 1 in order to get it out of our hand. You know, we don't want anything that can actually damage us through the Magus to be getting in. Yeah, like in my 75, I probably would have gotten Relic Order there. On their end, if they don't have anything else going on, I think they just like get a Jailer. They could also be like doing things differently here. Like they could use their mana to like just Flicker Wisp their Recruiter, get another Wisp, and then like try to make an attack with a Wisp blinking out Bridge once they actually have lethal. Alright, so I'm actually going to play this out post-combat in case they have Batterskull. D&D's hard, man. Alright, they don't have Batterskull. I see. So they had the Relic Order already? It's a little frustrating. And once again, I'm just like 1 mana short of like completely taking over this game. Alright. Variance got us that time. Not our opponent. This is why it's a bad matchup, right? And like I cut an Abrade in a bridge. That would have made the matchup slightly better, but still bad. Yeah. Better lucky than good. Yeah, our opponent made a bunch of things that most certainly looked like misplays from my side of the board. The Wasteland play was very good on their end. Like I will give them full credit where credit is due there. Like the Wasteland blink out the moon thing, like that's good. But I think a lot of the other lines were questionable. Like if they had the Relic Order earlier, like they should have just played it, attacked in for 5, and then had like lethal the following turn. A Fiery Confluence doesn't beat them, so only something like an Abrade would. So we are playing against Mental Misstep. I think they're Blue-Red Delver. Blue-Red something. So this is the last deck list they played, which is sort of like Blue-Red mid-rangey thing. Opponent says, oh well. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to mean, but I'll be keeping. We get Trinisphere into Chandra as a curve out. That's pretty sweet. You don't always have to have the turn 1. Alright. Plan has changed. Oh, is Mental Misstep Cedrus? That would make sense. This Fiery Confluence, by the way, is going to be, like, hella insane when it, like, occurs. Which might be right now. So, like, I can Chandra plus for mana, play Mountain, Fiery Confluence, destroy the Vial, deal 1 damage to all creatures in case they have a mom, and then nug them for 2. Then they can play whatever they play, and then I'll have, like, Trinisphere plus Chandra afterwards. This is a weird one. Right, 1 damage to each creature, 2 damage to each opponent, destroy target artifact. Oh my god, are you actually putting in the mom? Did you not notice that I dealt 1 damage to each creature? Oh my god, I am a ninja! I am a master! So that mistake probably means this one's over. Lewin, yeah, they would have gotten me good if they had Isamaru. Sanctum Prelate. So that should go on 4. Yep, good, good. So do I actually want to kill that, or do I just want to plus? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. I think I just go Trinisphere, Hazaret, attack them, let them crack Chandra for 2 back. So now Hazoret gets to attack. So, what world is there where my opponent gets back in the game? It would have to involve, like, Caracas the Hazoret, revoke the Chandra. A Flicker Wisp to, like, reset the loyalty on Chandra is fine. Like, that buys time. There's a consideration of holding this back to jump block. Yeah. Alright, and they wasteland me. So I Fiery Confluence to deal 1 damage to all creatures. Then okay, so I guess I need to, like, remove this to cast the Fiery Confluence. So I'll remove that. Play this. Cast 1 damage to each creature. 4 damage to each opponent. Easy confirmed. Alright, so we'll do the same as before, where when we're on the draw, we'll bring in these, we'll board out our Trinispheres, and on the draw, we'll trim 2 War Bosses. Hey, Luanil, I'm taking full credit for winning that game. My play of, like, making sure to deal 1 damage to all creatures with that first Fiery Confluence was really good and very important to the game. But admittedly, my draws were pretty okay there. Correct. I didn't play around Isamaru. We'll let our opponent get us. Like, anyone who is playing Isamaru, they can take those 3 wins. So, like, a lot of times when you're playing Legacy, you get into these really important situations where understanding your deck and your opponent's deck at an intimate level allow you to make plays like that you normally cannot make. I'm going to keep this hand. I know that this hand does not do anything impressive against D&T. But I get to go turn 1, make it so that Wasteland does not impact me. And if my opponent doesn't start on an Aether Vial, I'm really happy about this hand. So really hoping for not Thalia this turn. That's also very bad. Alright, no Mom. That's nice. That means Fiery Confluence can still do Fiery Confluence things. Looking to just draw land. Don't need anything else other than land at this stage. A soul land would be pretty killer. Misha's Factory. Interesting flex. Flicker's Battle Land end step. Classic. Classic. Alright, so I need to hit a land. When I hit a land, I can Magus and shut some of this stuff down. But I don't know that I'm going to get the opportunity to play a land. Yep, that makes sense to me. Like, my opponent just wants to try to close out this game ASAP. So I'm going to play out this Magus in the hopes that it gets to stick around and actually shut these off. If it does get to stick around, it's quite powerful. But we could just see something as simple as, like, get another Flicker Wisp, deal with this. We'll see what they recruit her for. It would be a fine opportunity to just get a Jailer. Yep. I don't know what their hand is, but it's very possible that this is an opportunity to tick Vial to 4, throw away the Vial, and then hit into for 3, 4, 5, 6 damage and port me. Like, it'll be hard to win from here. A soul land so that I can Fiery Confluence would be very powerful. Second port is absolutely brutal. That, I don't think I can beat that. Like, the rest of what they got going on is whatever, but the second port is brutal. So I will need to, like, top deck land into soul land. Can I win? I probably can't win. I'm going to play out another turn. I may get some information from my opponent. But I'm effectively just, like, dead on board. It's close. What if we had Brainstorm in our deck? Well, then I think our Chalices would be a little worse. Alright, so then when I'm on the play, I'll put a couple of War Bosses back in and board a couple of Maguses out. Are you talking about Bahra's weird, like, Esper Vileblade deck? Because that was interesting. I think he played it, and I think it was Rich Shea played it as well at some event and did pretty well with it. The deck looks a little funny to me, but that's the case with a lot of Mark's decks. I love Stoneblade. Although I've tended towards playing just blue-white over the past year or two, personally. Back to Basics is a hell of a drug, and I like basic lands more than most Legacy players. Berserk, thank you very much for following. I hope you're enjoying the content. All right, what am I doing? So I can go City, Chalice on 1. Okay, so, like, I'm keeping this hand. I just have to decide how I want to play it. If I don't get wastelanded, then the best way to do this is just go like City, Chalice on 1. Then follow up with turn 2 Chandra off Mountain Lotus Petal. And then that gives me the mana I need to like go and play out other things. Oh, okay, welcome. Glad to have you. I could also just play this slower and go like turn 1 Blood Moon, turn 2 Chalice. But I'm not here to play slow and safe. Here to take chances. Can hope that I've punished my opponent on an Ether Vial keep. Is this a trap? Is this a trap playing out this Horizon Canopy so that I moon? Oh, Goblin Lackey, you're totally right. I should have done it that way. I'm going to do it. It slows me down, but it gives me mana stability. And if my opponent actually doesn't have the planes, then this is absolutely insane. So rewarded for not going all in on the Chandra there. I'm actually very happy about our board position. Yikes! Oh, come on. Fiery Confluence off the top. One time. Nice. Nice! So we're actually going to take the Revoker out here, because I think it's pretty unlikely that my opponent can get another creature into play to like put the sword on within the next turn or two. So we're going to hope to like ride out some Chandra card advantage before that happens and find a way to answer the sword. Alright, well that's not a Revoker, so everything's fine. Alright, so like Batterskull would be absolutely terrifying for my opponent to pick up. Or actually, I guess not, because like they'd have to tap out for it, and then I can just like Chandra minus on it. Not gonna play that bridge yet. All right. I'm a little lucky with how this. Opponent says, "Crap! I kept a double Vile hand. Turn 1 Chalice was brutal. GG's." Like, you keep those double Vile hands. Like, they're very good. Just sometimes they don't work out. Alright, so we're playing against old boy Merlin. I feel like I know them. I've played them before. Alright, what am I doing? Turn 1, Goblin Rabble Master. Turn 2, Legion Warboss. Keep. Are we going to play against another Stoneforge deck? Please be combo for some variety. My little goblin boys can only take so many Stoneforge Mystics in a night. Shuffle with the Ponder. Do I just want to Magus here? No. I think Magus is food for my Chrome Mox. If this is combo, I want to race. If it's miracles, I want them not to have Swords to Plowshares in hand and for me to get lucky. Ah, some of my art critics in chat say that based on this island, it has to be miracles. Well, that's good to know. Starting to smell an awful lot like show and tell. Alright. Let's do this first. Actually, no. So let's do this, play this, then cast this on one. That way we can play it around a Pierce. Can I beat a Grizzlebrand if one is just put into play? Real questions. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That feels like an Emrakul off a sneak attack. Do I just beat that, though? Like, I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I get 2 goblins. Yeah, I think I just beat that. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. All right, pretty pleased about that. You don't get to beat an Emrakul attack every day. This is a hard matchup, by the way. Very bad for Red Prison. So I wish I had my 4th Ensnaring Bridge. It's basically for this matchup. So I'll probably be playing these. My Blood Moon effects are pretty weak. So I will probably pull some to all of those. So I can probably go like minus moons, cut 2 of my Maguses. Normally I'd have 1 more bridge to bring in, and so I'd cut 1 more Magus as well, but that's not where I'm at right now. Yeah, it's been a hard league. Like, I'm fighting for it. But, like, you can't always just get paired against, like, Ant and stuff that you want to play against. Okay, so what do? I can turn one Chalice. I can turn one Trinisphere. Like, this is fine. We'll find a way to win the game later. We're hoping that my opponent doesn't have Force of Will, but that's kind of always the dream with this deck, right? Lotus Petal's a good pickup. Go land. Chrome Mox. Put a Spirit Guide under it. Play a Lotus Petal. And I think I'm going to go ahead and Trinisphere. Like, if our opponent doesn't have a Soul Land, then they cast nothing on this turn. And if they don't have a Soul Land, it means I get to also resolve Chalice on one. Alright, so now they have to have natural show and tell. So I'll be looking for an ensnaring bridge now. Or a way to just win the game. Alright. So they don't have show and tell into everything here. Here's a way to win the game. That's what I'm looking for. This could get Force of Will, though. Nope. Look, I'm lackey. I would have had no shame in casting a Simian Spirit Guide and going to town. I would have had no issues with that. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is already a 2-turn clock. I can't reduce it to a 1-turn clock. So I'm actually just going to play a redundant Trinisphere in case my opponent was planning on, like, abrading this and then going off via Omniscience. So I just want to make more permanents so that I'm not dead. So I can go play this, and then I can probably turn everything sideways. If they... they have a counterspell now. Alright, so if I attack with everything, War Boss gets blocked. I'll hit for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put my opponent to 4. Yeah, I race. Like, game on. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we just get there. I just want to point out that we beat Emrakul in play that attacked 2 games in a row. Super, super pleased about that. Yeah, see, like, Mental Misstep was on D&T. It was a very close game, but in game 3, or I should say a close set, but in game 3, he kept a hand with 2 vials and all non-basic lands. So I went Chalice into Moon and just absolutely wrecked him. It's funny because, like, I was talking to them almost immediately before the stream. About D&T. Ugh. My opponent might be on Grixis Delver. They played it in a challenge in February. Hey, Bahra. I hope things are going well for you. Turn 1, 3-ball, or Chalice. Don't mind if I do. I mean, Lampalot is an awesome player. Alright, so let's go Mountain. Let's go Chrome Mox. Imprint 1 Rabbly boy. Play a Lotus Petal. And I think I actually want to try the Chalice here, because the Chalice plays around Daze. Force Pitch Vapor snag. Legacy All-Star. Blind Flip Delver like a champion. Blind Flip Delver like a champion. Alright, I'm very happy they didn't just, like, Young Pyro me there. I'm in a 3-ball, potentially at great sacrifice to myself. Alright. The games I lose to Delver are the games where they have, like, an early threat and 2 to 3 pieces of disruption. I don't really just want to play this Rabblemaster naked into a Lightning Bolt. Like, I'd much rather play a Trinisphere, but I don't know that I just have time to do that. Yeah, like, no matter which one of these I play, I'm going to be reliant on drawing another land. I'm going to play out the Rabblemaster and just, like, try to respect actually killing my opponent. This will let me play a card around Pierce. It's just going to be so punishing if they have the Bolt. Yep. Alright, so we're 3 for 3 on our threats being answered. So I'm probably just going down in this one. It's a shame. We really want to take game 1 in these sets. Alright, Chrome Mox is very good. I think I'm forced to play something that has power and toughness here. I don't actually have that many pieces of removal in the pre-board deck. So a lot of the scenarios where I'm going to win are going to involve something like a Rabble into a Rabble or something like that. So I have like Confluences and Chandras as my removal game 1. I'm not exactly sure what this pause is for. Like, it could be like, do I want to brainstorm in response to this? Could be like, am I willing to let this sit on the board and then try to like force a will your next spell? Eight days. Does that mean they have like a Snapcaster or something to flash in? Like, they didn't just want to tap 2 lands to do that? I haven't actually played The Witcher. My video game time recently has all been going towards Slay the Spire. I've been having so much fun with that game. It's like Dominion or Ascension mixed with an RPG. Like, it's definitely the sort of thing that I want to be playing right now. It like clicks a bunch of the same like mental notches that I enjoy about Magic. Yeah, so now I can't top deck a removal spell and actually cast it, so I'll go ahead and concede here. Mono red, death, and taxes. It's certainly got the death, it's certainly got the taxes. Alright, so against Delver, I want my removal spells, and I want my things to keep me from dying to any true name nemesis that they might actually have. So I'm going to assume that my opponent is blue-red Delver. They could actually be Grixis Delver. If they're blue-red, then my moon effects are actually quite weak against them. Like, they're not dead or anything, because like they still stop wastelands and whatnot, but they're certainly not amazing. So I'll probably end up doing something like this when I'm on the play. When I'm on the draw, it's a different story. Because the Trinispheres are much, much worse on the draw. And then I'll probably like keep some Maguses and maybe even board in some Scab Clans. Just try to like overload their removal. Yeah, like if you enjoy the deck building decisions that Magic has to offer, and you enjoy the like, how do I wiggle myself out of these difficult spots? If those are like 2 of your favorite things about Magic, Slay the Spire is a really, really fun game. I think I've played like 3 or 4 games of it today. My girlfriend and I regularly play, and we like talk through, you know, like what's the line, what cards do we want to take. It's fun. I'm starting to like get a little better at the game, so now I'm trying to do the challenges and like maybe work my way through some of the Ascension levels. I just started playing it like, well, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. So, like, I'm still getting better, but it's just a blast. roguelike deck building card RPG. It's good stuff. I can't do anything with this. This is a mulligan. This is how we're gonna lose this league. I can't do anything with this one either. I can only produce a single mana. No, I did not listen to that clip. I don't pull up sound clips while I'm streaming. I've got copyright things to worry about because all of these end up on YouTube afterwards. Please, opponent, make your choice so I can go to 5. Help me, London Mulligan. You're my only hope. All right. So what am I doing? This is an aggro hand. So I put 2 of these back. So it'd be like Chandra and Confluence. And then I go like Land, Chrome Moxa, War Boss, Lotus Petal, Rabble Master, Prey. Yikes. It's probably correct to keep this. Like, I'll have 2 mana sources left over. Alright, so what would I potentially want to draw again if I somehow shuffled my deck? Probably Fire Confluence. Let's put that back. And let's put this back. Alright, here we go. Oh man, did I put a Rabble Master back and keep a War Boss? I think I just did that. That's super annoying. I thought they were both Rabbles. We're going to pretend that it's because I'm playing around Electrickery and I want my monks to be bigger. Or not my monks, my goblins to be bigger. Ugh. Yeah, I'm just like relatively dead to just like fetch Lightning Bolt. Alright, so there's no difference about the play mistake that I made. It's possible I should have gone to like 4 and just tried to like Chalice or Trinisphere on turn 1 instead. But the hand that I kept had a plan. And it had like stable mana. That's something that was not guaranteed if I mulliganed further. One of the other hidden upsides of mulliganing a lot is that if I actually draw an Ensnaring Bridge, it's just insane. Stop that. Well, so did my opponent just keep a hand full of Lightning Bolts and hope that was good enough? Because if that's the case, I may yet top deck my way out of this. No. Last game he had everything. Like Pierce into Force into Bolt was just like crazy, answering my first 3 cards with ease. Look, I'm not going to complain about this league after I beat Emrakul Attacks 2 games in a row. Like, this league is already a big old W in my book. Fork Bolt. Oh no, my Goblin. To be honest, I don't even know if you Fork Bolt that Goblin. I kind of think you just hold the Fork Bolt for whatever comes next. I guess there's like top-decked Chalice to worry about or something like that. Maybe it's fine to play it. Please, please, let me go. Let me go. My guess is they have like a Ponder and a Spell Pierce, and they're wondering what they should do or something like that. Or they could be eating pizza. Who knows? I definitely like the fact that they're brainstorming in response to this Legion War boss. It's probably indicative that they don't have removal. At least at the time of casting the brainstorm. Which would, kind of go back to that Forked Bolt play of whether or not it was actually correct to take out that Goblin. No, we're basically 100% legacy on this stream. Like, every once in a while, I will do something different. Like, I think I streamed Cube once or twice. I did, like, one modern stream with a friend of mine who wanted to guest on the stream. That's kind of annoying. Like, I can still Goblin attack through it, but it's slow. I would love to draw Ensnaring Bridge. That's, like, my only way to, like, actively beat a true name Nemesis. Alright, you played a land for turn. You've got nothing left to do. Let me go. I mean, I'm going to play that. It may be detrimental to me. I will, in fact, hope that this gets Force of Willed. But if I'm going to play towards, like, a bridge doing something, I'm going to need to get this out of my hand. It just kind of sucks because then, like, future, like, Lotus Petals and Chrome Moxen and things are a liability. Alright, our opponent is deciding to race us rather than play defensively. I mean, a braid does things, I guess. So we're dead to a counterspell here. We're dead to a bolt here. Womp womp. Yeah, there's totally a world where Holy Light is playable in D&T sideboards. Like, it's one of the answers that we have to True Name Nemesis, other than, like, the stock stuff. Alright, so let's talk London Mulligan for a minute. In the games where I actually had to take mulligans, tonight I felt like my hands afterwards were pretty much always good, even when I went to, like, 5. The matchup pool that we got tonight was hard. Like, double D&T, show and tell, you know, the Delver's an okay matchup, but, like, I made some deck building choices that definitely made me worse than normal against Delver. And that's all fine. Like, the deck certainly feels powerful. But many of my games were landslides in one direction or the other. And that's kind of how this is sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night here. I will be back Saturday morning at some point, and I'm going to play some D&T. We'll see how D&T feels given the London Mulligan. To those of you who are going to the GP, good luck. I will not be joining you. I've got other things that I need to be taking care of this week, unfortunately. And if you enjoy this content tonight, please follow this channel. I'm streaming Legacy 3 days a week, and if you really enjoy, please consider doing something to support me, whether that's doing a donation deck list, subscribing to the stream, or something else of that nature. Good night, folks. I'm going to go ahead and turn you over to someone else for some Legacy content now. I think Arkin is streaming. Arkin's streaming. Oh, let's send everyone over to Bosch and Roll tonight. Cheers.